A timed demo for the highly anticipated dark title Blasphemous was released yesterday, and I wanted to give my thoughts about it as well as some information really quickly. Blasphemous doesn't give really many story details in its short demo, but it does lay down some of the basics of what will be in the game, such as shrines that are checkpoints and act like bonfires from the Dark Souls series, where you can replenish your health and health flasks, while also at the same time reviving all the enemies in an area. There's also items that can be found to be equipped to your rosary, and add effects to your character such as a higher vitality or the ability to see enemy health bars. There's also some statues that can make upgrades to your sword, called the Mea Culpa, that can make it stronger as well as give it new combos and attacks. There are also secret areas, shortcuts, merchants, traps, and a boss fight. I would say Blasphemous has a very fun and fluid combat system so far. It is simple with being able to attack, block, parry, pray, and dodge. The parry timing took a little getting used to, but I found it was best that I did the parry just before I thought I should, if that makes any sense. Nailing a parry gives you the chance to beat the hell out of an enemy, and grants you some invincibility frames during and right after the parry, so if another enemy is attacking, you won't get hit out of it. Dodging felt just right, and more often than not, I would just dodge enemy attacks, because it does a great job of putting distance between you and the attack. Enemies can also be stunned, and when that happens you can walk right up to them and finish them off. These finishers are absolutely brutal, to say the least. Enemies range from floating specters that fire projectiles of energy, to prison guards, and also what looks like a cardinal on a floating chair. I'm sure the list will get really wild once the full game is released. Prayers also seem like an interesting addition in the game, and it seems like you'll be able to choose between a wide variety of them. The one I used boosted my attack speed for a short while. The uses on these are limited though, so they can't be used all of the time. The graphics had a very Super Nintendo feel to them, and everything is detailed while still giving off a great retro game vibe. Blasphemous was built in the Unity game engine, so I was kind of expecting it to have random frame drops, but to my surprise it kept a smooth frame rate the entire time. I hope this is the case in the final game, because in games like this, every frame counts. There was also some screen shake that was kind of getting to me a bit, but thankfully I noticed there's an options menu in the game that allowed me to turn this off. There was an option to customize controls as well, which is great. If you search enough you can find secrets that will give you new items to equip, and most of these are guarded by a fair amount of enemies. It almost feels like you have to complete a trial of sorts in order to escape with the item. If you're killed at any time during your playthrough, a fragment of your guilt is left upon the world and it has a negative effect. The more times you die, the worse this gets. Thankfully, you can go to the spot where you died, find the guilt fragment, and free it from its chains to reverse this. It seems that there are also little children that are being held captive throughout the world, and you can release them by hitting their prisons in whichever way you can. I also found a woman who told me she could help me at some point in time, if I said she could. And so I did. She actually ended up helping me during the demo's boss fight. She would heal me from the background at random times, and I just wonder what kind of impact something like this will have in the final game. The area of the game shown off in the demo is a prison of some sorts that has plenty of spike traps, cannons, and places to explore. I foresee most of the sections in Blasphemous being like this, like you're penetrating into a dark labyrinth of horror, despair, and pain, and trying to flush the evil out. So if you don't like dark themes like this, you probably won't like this game's atmosphere. So far I would say I'm very pleased with Blasphemous based off of what's displayed in this demo, and I was worried about it not living up to the hype that I'd built for it in my head. But so far I think it feels wonderfully satisfying, the world is interesting, and there seems to be a lot to explore and plenty of upgrades to be found. So if you're seeing this video on the day I've released it, check out the demo if you can. It will be around until Sunday, September 1st on Steam for PC. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked the video and want to see a full review of the game when it comes out, please leave me a like so I know you're interested. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and ringing the little bell for more content. Thanks again.